Northern Nigeria is under siege and a wave of terror in the city of Maiduguri. Explosives strapped to a young girl detonated, killing at least 20 people at a busy market on Saturday. The following day, two female suicide attackers killed at least 3 people and injured dozens more in the city of Potiskum. Earlier this month, officials say Boko Haram killed as many as 2,000 people in the fishing town of Baga. Now, some residents, we are told, were burned alive. Now, senior international correspondent Nic Robertson joins me now from the Nigerian capital, Abuja, with more. Nic, this has been described as the deadliest massacre in the history of Boko Haram. Could you walk us through all that happened?
Yeah, I talked to an army spokesman a little time ago. He said that he thought the figure was less than 2,000. Yet we've also talked to eyewitnesses who were actually there, who say as many as 3,000 people they fear could have been killed. One eyewitness describes how this attack on Baga began. Saturday morning, 5:50 a.m., 3rd of January, right after the New Year, and he heard explosions and gunfire coming from the edge of the town. He thought it was the army at their outpost there, training and practicing. Then he saw the army fleeing the area. Then he said hundreds of Boko Haram came into town on trucks, heavily armed, heavy weapons mounted on the backs of those trucks. He said the local militia tried to sort of hold them off, realized that they were outmanned, outgunned, and this witness himself spent 3 days hiding in the bushes right next to his house. He said witnessing some of the killing, some of the looting that was going on, Boko Haram burning houses, burning stores after they looted them. After 3 days, he said they moved off to other towns nearby. That's when he made his escape, and he describes walking along roads to get away where for mile after mile, 5 kilometers, he said, of walking, he was passing body after body after body at the side of the road. And he is the one, a man that we talked to, who believes that 3,000 people may have been killed. So significant because of the burning of the town, 30,000 people put to flight, but very significant because the Boko Haram have overrun that military outpost there, the last significant military outpost in that area, which gives them wide freedom of movement, not just in that area in Nigeria, but easy access to cross the border to Chad, where they've already been operating. So this extends their influence. And then, of course, you have these suicide attacks over the weekend as well, Christy.
Why does Nigeria struggle to stop these attacks and to stop Boko Haram?
Well, one of the reasons, if we just look at the 3 suicide attacks this weekend, what Boko Haram are believed to have done are strapped suicide bombs onto young girls, one of them believed to be as young as 10, and sent them in not really as suicide bombers, because the implication is the suicide bomber intentionally blows themselves up, commits suicide, but really as they're being sent in as sort of human vehicles, perhaps unwittingly, but definitely being sent in as sort of just vehicles for the bombs. They get as close to security checkpoints as they can, and then remotely the bombs on them have been detonated, and that's happened to 3 young girls this weekend. So that's one of the reasons why it's been difficult for the Nigerian army to defend against Boko Haram's attacks, because of the nature of the attacks. They were successful in the capital of the state on Friday and Thursday, when they were able to repel Boko Haram there. But in the town of Baga being overrun, that military outpost had been a joint military outpost until a few months ago with troops from Niger, with troops from Chad, with troops from Cameroon. Now, those foreign national troops were pulled out a few months ago, which left the Nigerian troops alone. And the impression that is created here is that Boko Haram quite literally overran the army base because they outgunned, outmaneuvered, had better tactics perhaps than the army soldiers who were there, who in the end, in the face of this, fled and ran away. So this is why the army is facing such a tough time. The tactics that are being used against them, the tactics of a large-scale attack, and the tactics of sort of using children as bombers is making it very hard to secure the region, not just those towns.